This is Dan May with Unknown Artist Cyber Threat Emulation Analyst, and I'm going to show you how to rank up quickly with HackTheBox and prepare yourself for the OSCP. You can do both things at the same time. You can do both things fairly easy if you have a plan. I expect that you will go through the struggle, but the actual planning of the struggle shouldn't be so hard. So that's what we're talking about today. So we'll do that by using a combination of the HackTheBox forums and active boxes. And I'm really excited to show you the way that the best way to tackle the whole thing, in my opinion. So I have a OneNote here and we will just get started. So first thing that I want to do is load up HackTheBox.eu, and then that should have my credentials, or I thought it would. And then the second thing is forum.hackthebox.com. So I will go into my labs and my machines, and I have them already filtered on easy. This methodology should also work on medium, hard, and insane, but we'll just keep it easy for now. And I'll have a Patreon available to go through the medium, hard, and insane later this week. So the first thing that the first box that we'll tackle is open source. So we'll just type open source here, and we will organize our thoughts into enumeration, initial access, lateral movement, / switching users, and then privilege escalation. And then this will be the format for all of the other 4 boxes. Clicking back into our Kali. So the first thing we'll do with our forums is we'll just type open source, and then we'll see what's going on with open source, and we'll start reading comments. So the reason why I like this methodology is we're collaborating without actually having to deal with people, and that is the strength of the forum for HackTheBox. And we'll just start reading comments. So I see L ** vulnerability, and looking for more. So for more stuff, and I'm leaning toward L ** vulnerability to be LF5 vulnerability, but okay, there it is. So there's a potential LF5 vulnerability on this box, and we've just, found that out just like that. So we'll just type LF5 vulnerability there, and then we'll go back into our Kali to continue. Can anyone tell me how to use the secret encoding string? Are you trying to find LF5? Whew, a lot of stuff here. So there's a console via console directory, and then we'll put a question mark there because we don't really know that to be the case. We just, based on what we've read so far, we can ascertain that. Someone can please help me. So console page, is there an LF5 parameter of the console page? Is what I'm guessing this to be. So again, we're speculating here, but I'm pretty confident in my speculation based off of what I've seen so far. I've gotten hidden creds, but I don't know what to do with them. But I don't know if the LF5. So we could say credentials. Type that there as well. And then we can keep going. Get the LF5, but I can't get the reverse shell. Got the reverse shell, so we could say just break this down into its own thingy here. And then we could say something like reverse shell possible. Oh, didn't want to do that. Let's undo that. Okay, and it's not gonna let me slide that. And so I'll just make it pretty by doing that and then go back into continue. Now I'm stuck at whatever this is. Try to access something starting with root. That sounds more like LFI. So it's kind of like, you know, solidifying that idea that LFI is present. I have a reverse shell inside the Blake control. So he doesn't know where the creds are. And then Blake there, people are talking about, because it's not a traditional LFI, may not be a traditional LFI. It's what we've gotten so far from this. So, you know, we are barely at 2 minutes into the box or 5 minutes into the box or whatever the case, but we do know that it's an LFI and we don't have to dig around, you know, looking through things that, you know, don't have anything to do with exploiting the box. Now, we do take a bit of a loss here because what we sacrifice from this learning path is our, you know, our skills in digging it out, looking through everything, stumbling over things. And so if you haven't been through that portion of your journey here, I would suggest that you go through that first. This is simply for people that want to keep up with the latest trends in pen testing as they relate to HackTheBox, and B, people that want to stay sharp on their skills before they take the OSCP. But again, the beginner route should just be, hey, forget the forums, look at your OSCP, your PWK material, and go through the struggle through those lab boxes. This is a bit advanced, and you kind of gotta know, and you kind of gotta look at things and be able to connect the dots here. And that is what we're doing here. Got access to console. I'm stuck without the pin. So there's a pin number involved. Pin number, possibly. Yeah, I can't spell today. Involved with console. All right, continuing on, you can use the blank page with reverse shell. There's a filter. Okay. There's hidden creds. There's reverse shell and LFI. I know that the whatever runs on the filter port. So there's a filter port. So there are filtered ports. Enumerate all ports. Enumerating all ports won't get you, you know, far, but it's just good to know to do that each time. So there's a hidden web application. So possibly a hidden, or it's not really hidden, an internal facing web application. So, you know, things, knowing that it can take you different places when you are at the lateral movement and privilege escalation piece. So that's good to know ahead of time, so that I can go ahead and get those juices flowing in my head for future things that I may have to research or do, whatever the case. Again, this is all open source research. I typically do all of this whole process first, and then I go about my day, and then I'm thinking of ideas and I'm thinking of things, and then at night I can come in and finally tackle a box with precision versus getting all of the things and trying to figure it out at once. It's really a way of not becoming overwhelmed and bogged down with a bunch of information. The credentials were in something the website gave you. Enumerate everything in it. So write the web application fully, just to know to do that, you know. Box isn't accepting my flag. We're just gonna, I can't believe I missed that they were using gets. Web application may have a git directory. So we can possibly skip the whole using Ferrix Buster or Gold Buster and just go straight to git. And then this must be the CVE. So again, we're taking shortcuts here and we're not really going through the process of grinding, but this gets you prepared to do OSINT as you're on your pen testing assessment, or if you're on the blue side and you just need to get an attacker's mind frame before you threat hunt. So even though there may be potential spoilers or almost spoilers, you are getting yourself ready to get information quickly, because I guarantee you, when you are working the job, or when you're a SOC analyst, or when you're a pen tester, you really don't have time to be developing an exploit or figuring things out, especially if the information is there ready for you to take in. So again, take in as much information as possible and then do your analysis is the practical way to do it. I do understand on the OSCP, you're going to be out there and figuring it all out on your own. And so that is valid. But again, here we're talking about once we've done the PWK material and we are at a decent level of, pen testing methodology and confidence. Once we're there, now we're getting toward, hey, I want to rank up on HackTheBox more, sharpen my skills, refine things, meet new people, and ultimately just be a badass at what I do. That is what this video is for. So yes, we have CVE. And this may be our initial access piece. So we'll just copy that there. We'll bold that. And then based on this, we'll say credentials may allow us to access the Git folder. So again, I've done all of this stuff and I haven't even run a simple NMAP scan. I haven't even turned on the box, but I know all of this about the box that we may potentially go after. So to continue going, maybe use a different blank version. Okay. Is that cool? I wonder. There's only one file that contains code relates to your. So hack tricks. I think so. It's hacktricks.xyz if I'm remembering correctly for that. Okay, that was loud. Newbie can't contain first shell something vulnerability. So he says it isn't required. That's nice. The LFI pin. So we were right on that. Somebody that just exposes it. Pin in the console. So I'm thinking that they blur it out if the thing could potentially spoil it, or whatever the case is. Fine. You could brute force the pin. Yeah, so need to brute force the pin. So I am aware that people publish walkthroughs of HackTheBoxes all the time. And if you want to go that route to try to rank up, I guess that's good. But I mean, it's not as fun. I think a better way is to understand where people are struggling and understand that, you know, you can post here as well. So this is more of a community driven based improvement versus trying to rank up and, you know, trying to look like you've done something. It's much better to understand people's struggles and things like that as you come up. So that's why, again, I prefer the forum route as opposed to trying to Google the walkthrough and look like you know what you're talking about. Pay attention to recently changed files. So we'll just copy this straight out, or actually, I don't know if I could. Privilege Escalation, GTFO bins. And I think he said something else. Recently changed files. Let's see. Where was I at? And then we'll just give that its own category there. And, you know, if you continue to do this, within no time, you should be not only, you should at least rank up to from noob or script kiddie, whatever the first one is, to hacker. And then I think for me to get to hacker, I had to do 4 active easy boxes and then 1 medium box, and that got me to hacker. But I had to do them within a small amount of time so that none of them retired on me as I ranked up. So just keeping that in mind as well. But again, this is to me, this is the most fun way to do it, because I'm going to do 3 more boxes like this, and then I'm going to have them in my OneNote. And then as I go about my day, I'm going to have my phone, and my phone it also has OneNote in it. And I'm going to just check, and just, if I'm bored, just read through my notes, and I'm going to say, this may be good. This may be good. And I'm going to be able to first choose which box I want to do. And then secondly, have a solid plan for when I get in here tonight and go ahead and get the points for the boxes. And then once I clear all of the easy boxes, I'm going to move on to medium and things like that. And, you know, it's just, this is the most fun way for me to do it without burning out. Or, you know, I know a lot of people pay for HackTheBox, but then they don't log in. I've been there. That's why I know. That's why I definitely know. Pen, can anybody explain to me why I'm just modifying the something file? There is a use something file. I think it has to do with so yeah. So based off of what I have for open source so far, I would enumerates. Step 1, I would find a web application. Step 2, I would find the Git application. Step 3, I would I don't know. I'd have to mess with it. I think from here, maybe brute force the pin. And then step 4, use the LFI to get to read or modify u by pi, or use the LFI to get a shell. So LFIs could, I hope I'm not saying this incorrectly, but I think you can use the LFI to poison a file, meaning that you can modify a file with LFIs. You can also do a reverse shell. So I'm curious to know if the LFI has to do with the u whatever.py file, and if you're poisoning that or reading it. And then from there would be step 5 would be look for recently changed files and use a, what is it? Is it GTFO bins or it says GTFO bins? Law bin or GTFO bin to elevate privileges. Again, this is more of a guess, but this is a solid plan for me to go after. So while I'm out and things like that, or if I go about my day and I'm sitting in line at Starbucks or whatever people drink, I would probably look more into that, because I think I could handle this stuff and I can handle this, but I would look more into that to see, and I would also probably look more into this. I hope this doesn't spoil it for you, because again, I don't know anything about this box other than what I got from the forums. I think this could be a pretty fun box. I really do. But yeah, we're gonna rename this open source, and then I'm going to say this is actually our open source intelligent piece. So we'll just I don't know how to do that. I just wanted to make it pretty and bigger than everything else. Boom. And then we'll just copy that out and then go to our next one. All of those aren't there. This there. And then I think our next box, if I'm not mistaken, is, let's go back, trick. So we will type trick in here, official trick discussion, and we'll continue. So I think we're talking about trick. I'm an administrator. I don't know what they're talking about on the web. There's an LFI. I don't know. This says rabbit hole here. Admin access. Can't find the subdomain. So guy puts these two, and it says can't find the subdomain, and blah blah blah. Arbitrary code, errors responding to tree, brute force, SMTP. So I'm thinking DNS and SMTP may be available. So imagine, like, what if you were like a real hacker or whatever the case, and you were going after a business. This is what you would do. You do your open source intelligence so that it's quicker for you. And so that's all we're doing here. We're not, there's not really to it, man. You can you can have fun. Like, you don't just have to train and go through the drudgery. You can have fun and train, and that's what we're doing. I got user, and F seems like the path forward. I got admin, but the user, so we'll copy that out of there, and we'll say initial access. We'll type that in there. We'll keep going. Enumeration key. User can't write, but it can read. That's common. I don't know why we put that in there. Fundamentals are spotty. Found a page. So there is an LFI, I guess. LFI. And then we'll just do that like we did the last one, and we'll just like boom, boom. And we'll just continue reading. Okay, brother, I got my admin panel. Enumeration. There may be an admin panel. I wonder if, because DNS got mentioned, I wonder if there is a found a creds user. So there's creds. There may be creds for user star m star. What is that, Remy? I don't know. Maybe it is. Boom. SMT port. You need to use basic enumeration skills. That don't help. Unlikely, blah, blah, blah. I found the ports of whatever that is. Don't know what you're referring to. Failed to open stream, permission denied. Failed to open stream. Which one is that? Stream. I don't know. So enumerate DNS fully. So if DNS is open, you could do a zone transfer. Dang, man. I think I need a new keyboard, you know, because I know it's not my typing skills. Bull pawn trick is to blah blah blah. I think I'm having to... Okay, so it looks like the user may have pseudo privileges, which is huge. Keep going. So box down, you don't need to write permissions on the comp file. So there's a comp file. Oh, might need all of that. I need all of that. I think that's going to be privilege escalation, and we'll just like italicize that so we know that it is not our words. And then another thing that I would like to do is when I get good stuff like that, I like to get the username so that if I do if I do use that, I could give that user respect, and I can also keep in touch with that user. Just another way of, you know, being myself, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, if something just knocks me like boom, like that made me good, like okay, you know, I might keep in touch with that guy. Getting LFI work. Hey guys, having issues trying to replace one code is not being executed. So I would tell you, man, everybody feels like you feel, you know. Everybody feels like you feel in this thing. Like it is overwhelming. It says to fuzz. Play with DNS and fuzz. I don't know. Whatever the case, I don't know what they're talking about there. I hope I don't have the fuzz because I mean I could fuzz, but it's like, you know, and like how far are we going in the fuzzing? And it's probably not the right terminology there, because when I think of fuzzing, I'm thinking of trying to break something. So you probably just mean like brute forcing or whatever the case. Or yeah. I just keep saying fuzzing, but I don't know. If I do fuzz, you know, there's, you know, fuzzing can go a long way. Stuck on the admin panel. So again, there are this is pretty good stuff. Fuzz subdomain, so we know that is going to be the thing. Don't get too technical. Do it once more. Yep. So we didn't even need to do anything. You know, try to enumerate the DNS service. Okay, we know that. For the user, if you find a magical technique to read files, you can check another service's default configuration files. That looks like more enumeration stuff, or maybe LFI stuff. Yep. So from what I have here, I'm thinking step one would be to find subdomains after enumerating DNS. Step two would be what? Find that LF5 vulnerability. Step three, read .conf file. I don't know. This may not need to move, so don't quote me on this part. As a matter of fact, let's just put it in other notes for now. You got to read a conf file, and then could creds be in a conf file? I don't know, maybe. Fine. Step four, find creds. Step five, SSH into the box. And then step six, use I thought there was GTFO bin. Oh no, that was that one. Interesting parameter, patch reversal. Yeah, just shut up. Okay, and that's it. So I don't, maybe managing. Okay, so I think you're just gonna sudo so based on these two boxes, both of these boxes look pretty fun. I probably would choose this box over this one. So right now Trick is my favorite box, and then OpenSource is a close second. So again, this is how I would keep myself interested in the fight, and I would go ahead and get user and root on all of these boxes. And normally what I would do is wait until new easy boxes come out, but I think I'm going to just take this methodology that I'm showing you and then move to medium and move to hard and move to insane, and probably become more of a hack the box guru so that I could grow my channel. I don't know. Tell me what you think about that in the comments and let me know. The next one we're going to do is late. So we will type late here, official late discussion, then give me a hint to find that domain. So we'll type late here, rename that to late, and then kind of copy our template out of here. And then just delete all of this stuff that was unique to that box. And so right off the bat, it says something about a subdomain. So maybe we'll just put Etsy host in there so we know that we'll have to do that. Really nice machine. Identify. So there's a common vulnerability. Let's see, CVE is in here somewhere. Oh, I don't know what they're talking about. Anyway. Okay, so I see I figured out the vulnerability for RCE. So RCE for web. Did it say web application or web server? Let's see what it said. I think it did say web application. Web application. Backend languages. Backend. Keep going, keep going. One took me, it says it's a good 20-pointer box. My whole thing about 10 versus 20-pointer boxes, if your RCE leads you to root, that's going to be a 10-pointer. If the RCE leads you to a user, that's a 20-pointer. And then if there's no RCE, if there's just like a crazy way in, it's going to be a 25-pointer in my head. Meaning it's going to take some work. Oh, yep. Nope, don't want to do this one. So yep. I'm not taking their advice. I just know when I saw Arial 24 and I saw Courier Best Font and fonts and things like that, I'm like, nah, I'm going to leave this one alone. So Late is not getting any love from me. It's definitely going to be last place. And we'll just move on. So sorry to the creator of that box, where, you know, when I saw fonts and things like that, I'm like, and I saw this, and I'm like, nah, bro. I don't know what it is. It's just, that's another reason why I appreciate this methodology, is because, you know, I can run through my plan and I could be like, nah, I don't want to learn about that. Now, maybe there'll be more attacks in the future that may be like that, and I may get interested in the future, but for right now, nah. I think the last one is Timelapse. Yep, Timelapse. So we will go ahead and put Timelapse in here. Oh, okay, not in this topic, right? Official Timelapse discussion. And we will just go ahead and take this. Thank you. Put that in there and then call it Timelapse. And then Timelapse as well. I normally don't use OneNote, but I'm using OneNote because, you know, for simplicity, like with the video. Typically when I take notes, I want to do it in a write-up format so that it's already there. I know what you're thinking. You know, that's probably too much for a write-up. True. So I see write-ups in two parts. So I see the write-up for me and then write-up for an audience. So the write-up for me is going to be everything, like all of the things. And then when I do the write-up for the audience, I'm going to take out a lot of things so that it flows more smoothly. I hope that made sense. So yeah, I wouldn't use this format. Again, if I were doing the OSCP, all of my notes would be in the OSCP format that's generally accepted, not required, by the way. It's just generally accepted, and then make sure you have all of the things. And then I do all my screenshots there, and it just gives you the reps, you know, the practice of, you know, submitting a report in the format that they like. I digress though. Let's get back to Timelapse. So completely new to doing Windows machine, especially AD machine, p.file. Don't know what that is. P.file, whatever. Don't know what they're talking about there. Don't know what that is, but you can execute commands as whatever ducky. I don't know what that is. Whatever. Oh, can you give me something file? Decrypt. You're decrypting something. So initial access, decrypting p dot file. That's what we got so far. Found the p dot file. I'm in exact spots. Found several. I found several users. Also got 2 passwords. To p decrypted in normal whatever key. Okay, so I'm leaning toward this being a PFX file if you decrypted it into a key. And then there's a zip file as well. So possibly I'm thinking there's a zip file and a PFX file. Okay, so just like slowing down because I don't know if I lost some people. So a PFX file is a public and private key mixed together into a file. I'll call it PFX file. I'm hoping I'm getting that right. I've done maybe one mess with PFX files once before. So what they're useful for is if you want to give a web application an identity, meaning that if you wanted to exchange public keys instead of I hope I'm not screwing this up. So if I'm screwing this up, please sharpshoot me in the comments. But your web application would have a PFX file, and if you also have a public key that you're communicating with, you'd send that to your web application, and the way that you communicate with that web application is that PFX file. So long story short, if you have any public key let me slow it down a little bit. If you've ever heard of a what do they call those things? A PKI card. In the military, they're called CAT cards, but it's the same concept. If you have a PKI card and you insert that into a PKI card reader and you authenticate into Active Directory, you have a PFX file on that card. And so there exists technology. Let me back up a minute. There exists software that can read PFX files and extract the public and private keys from that file. So if you put your card into that slot and you put in your PIN or your password, you have allowed that software to extract that key from that PFX file. So I'm thinking by decrypting the PFX file, we're manually doing that. And it seems to me, based off of what I just read, that the PFX file may be in a zip archive. So unzip PFX file, or whatever the case. I hope that rundown made sense. It may not be 100% accurate. Just know that this is one of the things that I deal with in my job. And if anyone has any additional insight into a PFX file, please comment and just let me know. I'm not above being corrected, and I would definitely be courteous and professional when I respond to you. So just keep that in mind if you ever hit me up. So, okay, so I see that it's a Windows box, and I see that there's W blank blank W R blank. So I'm thinking WinRM is possibly our initial access vector. I haven't seen anything about web applications either, so I'm heavily leaning toward WinRM as the thing there. And if that's the case, you would use the private key with evil WinRM to gain access. So we're done. So all we have to do is figure out that, which I think once we decrypt the PFX file, we should see a user, and then it should be just easy from there. So we don't have to really do anything else there. We should now look toward our privilege escalation. And just to hammer this home, if there's a PFX file somewhere and they haven't mentioned anything about a web server or any other type of share, it's safe to assume that this PFX file is on an SMB share. So you use SMP client to download PFX file or the zip file, depending on if the PFX file is in the zip file or not. I don't know. That's the cleanest way in my head that it could work out. And so let's start looking toward the privilege escalation piece, which I like to look toward the back of the end of it. Gain privilege. Okay. So privilege escalation root.txt is not on the desktop of administrator. That's what it seems. Machine is called Timelapse. A lot of going back and forth. What users did you log into as before? I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. Studied Bloodhound. Why would you use Bloodhound? Is it another admin's folder? So yeah, that's good. Found a command in history. But whenever I try to run. Okay. So history. So I guess you just type history. So a brief thing about history, well, history about history, is it definitely works on Linux, but in Windows, it works on PowerShell. But to my knowledge, history is not persistent on PowerShell, but maybe it is here. I don't know. But in my experience, if you type history into PowerShell, you're only going to get your history. So that's really interesting to me to see if I could do something with that. But looking at this box, I don't think that this is going to be my choice for tonight, but we'll see. Okay, so there's the user again. There's SMB client command. And okay, so I don't really see Google and applications on the host. Okay, so I'd like to know. So that's evil WinRM again. And then there's a text C option. Okay. So yeah, there has to be a way to use certs with evil WinRM. Oof. Okay, so we'll just take all of this. So Priv Esc, and I think we have, okay, history actually deals with switching users. So we're definitely gonna have to switch users. So that's nice to know before we go into the box, because switching users is typically a medium box thing. it says to get familiar with Bloodhound. So if we're dealing with Bloodhound, we're dealing with how permissions work. And maybe this is one of those boxes that I could do once it retires. And I could show you some stuff about things. Okay, so that's really good to have. So it's kind of like, to me, I feel like it's like picking for berries, I think. Things that I could figure out, but like if I want to rank up as quickly as possible, but without looking at active write-ups, this is the way that I would do it. No, that's not what I want to do. And then I want to make this just a little bit cleaner here. So the PFX file. This box does not look, the PFX file part doesn't look interesting to me. Simply because, let me type this out before I talk, because I can't really type and talk. Simply because to me, if we're talking about any PKIs, if we're talking about public and private keys, this stuff is, there are so many frameworks and policies that go into protecting PFX files. And yeah, it's a fun box, or whatever the case. I think it's fun in, let me backtrack a little bit. It should be fun if you just are, if you're just being introduced to PFX files. But in my head, it's like, you know, if, you know, there's an exposed PFX file, there are several policies being broken there, and somebody could potentially get fired. So it's, you feel what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want to see things that are so out of whack to the point of yeah, I hope that made sense. It's so out of whack to the point of, man, this would be like somebody getting fired type stuff, versus if you just have an LFI that's like, it's a little bit different. Like nobody gets fired because of an LFI, or in most cases they don't. But if there's an exposed key, public private key, or whatever the case, somebody's head is gonna roll, I would think. So yeah, if I were to, let me just make sure I got everything right before I close this video out. Timelapse. Why did I do XD host here? Is that from another one? Okay, yeah, it was. Enumeration, SB, and WinRM. So, yep. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So if I were to rate these, I would definitely say Trick would be number 1. I would say OpenSource would be number 2. I would say Timelapse would be number 3. And then Late, I'm not gonna touch this box at all. I'm gonna wait until the write up, but that'll be a number 4. So yeah, that's how I would do it. Now, and from here again, I would take these files and I would go about my day, look over them, think, hey, where are the steps? What are the steps that need more research? What do I need to research more into, right? So for my LFI vulnerability, maybe I'm a little bit weak on that. Maybe I could dig deeper into that and then look at what they're saying here. You know, LFI is here too, but maybe I want to research more into the CVE. And Timelapse is, again, maybe I want to look into PFX files more. Maybe I want to look into Bloodhound more. And just a side note for Bloodhound does take a little bit of setup. So yeah, that, right? So it's good to know that you have to use Bloodhound ahead of time, because if it's not set up the way you would like it to be in your Kali, before you even run an NMAP, you can just go ahead and set that up. So with that said, I really don't have anything else to say about what I'm doing tonight. It's going to be Trick, more than likely. If Trick, if I can get this box rather quickly, it's going to be open source. And then if I'm just super bored, it'll be Timelapse, not touching Late. I already said that, just repeating it for effect there. And final thoughts on the forum: get in here, start liking, like these comments, man. If they really helped you, comment, like them, reply, or post here. If you don't understand it, be active here, because I would tell you the forum to me is more important than the actual HackTheBox site. It's more important to me because it allows you to collaborate without collaborating. People are there, people are talking, but if you like antisocial and you don't like talking to people, if you don't like fooling with people, they're there, but just in text form. So none of the awkwardness of actually socializing with people, right? So that's always a good thing if you're antisocial, if you were an introvert. I'm an introvert as well. Like, if I can avoid talking to people, I will. I can't lie, man. I definitely will. So yeah, I hope you take this methodology and run with it like I would like you to do. And once you get really good at reading the forums, move up to medium, man, and get these boxes, and then move up to hard, and then insane, and then you'll be able to rank up. For me, I am not very ranked up on here. I am a hacker now, and I'll be a pro hacker probably at the end of next month. Wow. Why does it say 0.0? That's definitely not the case. Definitely not the case. I have a free plan right now. Probably go back up to VIP Plus. I've done 36 machines. That seems like it's short. I don't know about none of that, this other stuff. But yeah, I've gotten 2 respects. Own systems is 36. Own users is 41. Final scores are 0. Because if you don't know about the way that this goes is, if a box retires, you lose your points. But I didn't think you lost your ownership, but apparently you do. So yeah, with that, I'm out of time. Like and subscribe and comment if you have any questions about what I talked about. And I'm out.